Hello and welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a man who just jumped over some shrubs. It's John Levingood.
I mean, shrub jumping, when you're my size, shrub jumping really feels like a significant hurdle. If they put that in World's Strongest Man, like, it could be a small shrub, and I would be so impressed if, like, Zadruna Savickas or,
The
Brian
mountain.
Shaw can jump over a small shrub without touching it with any part of their body.
Oh my gosh, that needs to be a strongman event, shrub jumping.
Yeah, and it'd be like a dive roll, right? Because to get the real height, you'd need to dive roll.
Oh,
I mean,
So
these
then they need
guys
to
would
do-
be nervous.
they need to do a shrub jumping event, and then they need to do a hedge jumping event, and then they need to do a maze run through shrubs.
And they need to make them do the dance sequence from Footloose.
Punch dancing in a warehouse?
Yeah. Oh no, I just meant like the Chris Penn,
Oh,
even
let's
something more
dance.
doable.
Oh, dude, okay. You put a yoke, right, on a strongman,
Yeah,
and then they have to complete the maze from The Shining.
dude. Are they being chased by a half frozen Axe Nicholson?
Yes.
I mean,
Imagine that event.
it's unnerving. Well, you know what else? Their hands are tied, so they can't defend themselves well. So it makes them run.
Oh my gosh. And then they get lost, and then their muscles and then one of them uses the right hand technique and makes it through.
The right hand, just follow all the rights and then turn. Yeah, I got you.
I mean, yeah. Oh man, shrub jumping as a strongman event.
That would be devastating, though. The injuries would abound.
And it would wreck the mystique so badly of strongman. Just watching these very, very, very strong men trying to jump a hedge or a shrub.
Yeah, that
I
would be
want
tragic.
Jason Bateman from Dodgeball calling this sport Pepper, and just watching these strong men jump over shrubs.
I want to see this, but I don't want to see these guys get hurt. I feel like it's gonna be like one of those scenes in a movie where the bone is sticking through flesh.
Oh man. It would just be oh god, and it would be very uncoordinated. They would do like little steps. They would break a bone, do some little steps. Because whenever I think of powerlifters, I just think of tiny steps, and just take some big shatter.
Because
tiny
when they do
steps
like
fall.
their yoke walks, they're what is it called?
Yeah.
The frame walk things.
Yeah, they're just walking tiny steps. You know why I brought that up, right?
About hedge jumping?
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, the opening of this movie, when Steven Seagal
Oh my
and his
God.
crew are attacking the compound.
The Chechen safe house.
Yeah, and they're attacking the safe house, and Travis, Austin Travis, which I love. It could be Travis Austin. Which name's better, John? Lieutenant Colonel Travis Austin or Lieutenant Colonel Austin Travis?
I think Austin Travis sounds like he's trying to be the uber American.
Austin Travis.
Yeah.
Like this summer,
Mhm.
Austin Travis
That guy has a country album and he's touring the South.
Austin Travis?
Austin Travis, absolutely.
Okay, I want you to hear two things. This summer, Austin Travis stars as the Sunblazer. Or, this summer, Travis Austin stars as the Sunblazer. Which one you watching?
I think Travis Austin sounds like Joe Biden's nephew, and Austin Travis sounds like a WWE wrestler.
Oh man, Austin Travis. Heel or good guy?
I don't know. He might be like The Rock, where he hops back and forth.
Whoa, is he like a Daniel Bryan who's small, but everyone loves him because he's really technical?
Oh, that would be good. That'd be good. Yeah, like
So-
a Shawn Michaels back in the day.
Whoa. So it could be Austin Travis and Travis Austin, and they could be Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels. Weren't they the Flybirds? The Flying Thunderbirds?
Oh, I don't know. Wait, that was a cartoon, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Thunderbirds. They were like the Sun Whistles or something. I don't
The
know what their
Sun
name was.
Whistles. What the hell is that?
I don't know, but the Sun Whistles that sounds like a great band. Like, not a band. It sounds like a Sister Hazel type band, the Sunblazers. No, they weren't the Rougeau brothers. I don't know. They were the Freebirds? No, that's a Leonard Skinner song. I digress. But yeah, so I was watching this movie when they're attacking the compound, and just watching Steven Seagal, Joe Morton, B.D. Wong, John Leguizamo hop over shrubs was just a highlight for me. It was really wonderful, synchronized shrub jumping. And I just thought to myself, you know, you know, John, you and I are Navy SEALs. We could bust into any house and take people out. But can we jump over shrubs in sync?
I think that we can do it a lot better than Steven Seagal.
He does little steps too.
That, yeah, he was. This is like the time frame where he just started to put on a little belly, like not like Godzilla opponent Steven Seagal of modern day, but like he was just starting to get like the dad bod midsection around this time. It's years after his Hard to Kill trilogy, and and he's like 6'5", he's not dive rolling. And whenever you see him fight, and I'm not saying he's not an amazing martial artist, right? But it's not very showy, and he's always like leaning back with his back straight while he's kind of like slapping and chopping at people. Like he is a slap, chop, and fast forward with those arms.
Oh man,
but he's not dive rolling. He's not dive rolling.
No.
He's not jump kicking. He hardly ever kicks higher than his waist, even when he was thin.
Well, if you think about his training, there's a lot of upper body. It's that kind of disarming people. It's getting their hands. Right. But he's not going to he can't disarm a shrub that's on the ground.
No, disarming a shrub would be very difficult for him.
If it was like a Christmas tree, he could take a weapon from it.
But so when I think of Steven Seagal's fighting style, and again, it's very technically impressive. But if you don't understand how it's technically impressive, if you're not someone who spent a lot of time, whether it was boxing or martial arts or something, you probably just look at him. And especially when he throws an occasional kick, and it's never higher than someone's stomach, and they're all shorter than him. He has a fighting style that I would describe as permanently pulled hamstring. He has a permanently pulled hamstring, and he's fighting as if he's trying to minimize leg movement because he has that pulled hamstring. And so he won't even bend his torso forward.
Mm-mm.
I
guess. Yeah. Oh, I love it, John. I see it in my head. Well, I guess you have to keep your feet planted the way he fights to get those knives. So if you want to learn more about his fighting, I did a video for Rotten Tomatoes. We did Jean-Claude Van Damme versus Steven Seagal. So you can go to Rotten Tomatoes versus, and it's on YouTube. And we have his entire martial arts history. He was the first, I think, American to open a dojo in Japan for his martial arts. Like he was legit.
Oh, he's right. Tremendous. Yeah. He
has a very interesting style. And I got to say, John, if he was the star of this movie, it would be 7 minutes long. So you think about this film, and they don't get onto the plane until 40 minutes into the movie. Then, a couple people are killed throughout. One of the henchmen is killed at 100 minutes. The senator is killed at 111 minutes, and the attack doesn't start until 1 hour and 51 minutes into the movie.
Although there's still 25 minutes left at that point.
Yeah, so the total attack of this movie lasts 5 minutes, from 151 to 156. So that's a very short attack scene. But I think this movie works because of the sweat, the nervousness, the furrowed brows, Kurt Russell's stress, Oliver Platt's stress, John Leguizamo's strong leadership. But if Seagal was on this, he was like, okay, guys, I'm going to go upstairs. I'll be right back. 3 minutes later, okay, guys, I'm going to land this plane. You take care of Cappy. Make me a cappuccino. Oh, and I got a date with that really awesome stewardess later on. She's awesome. And then the movie's over. But his vibe doesn't work in this movie. So I'm kind of glad that he got killed at the 40-minute mark of this film, because his vibe just wouldn't have fit. Does that make sense?
Sure. No, absolutely. Because he's an action star, right? He's an action star, and action stars go kind of raise hell for the bad guys, unless you're like the rare Van Damme arc where you get your butt kicked first and you have a comeback. But he was usually less of an action star and more of a fighting underdog star, right? He was like a Rocky. But so Steven Seagal, he just comes in and raises holy hell for bad guys. Whereas this movie isn't about a badass team led by a badass leader. This is about a team that is shattered. And the movie is more, and by my view, the movie is more about rebuilding the team than it is about them beating the bad guys. They have to overcome the team to they have to rebuild themselves to beat the bad guy. But beating the bad guys these bad guys are clumsy or they're not impressing us with what they can accomplish in terms of combat. Right? The biggest threat that happens is because they thought they killed the big bad guy and he wasn't dead yet. Like they didn't check. So
yeah, you know what's interesting? Leguizamo didn't. Oh, so the guy gets killed in the beginning because he doesn't sweep the room, and then Leguizamo gets shot after not checking the body. Interesting.
But don't get me wrong, that guy took some good shots, but
yeah, the air marshal got him.
You still check.
You know what I love too is there could have been there's a major power vacuum that could have happened when Austin Travis or Travis Austin dies, and I like that there's no wrestling for who's in control, if that makes sense.
And there's no witch trial about who's to blame, really.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no one does that. Everyone's just like, okay, we have a job to do. And I think Leguizamo takes the role of leader, but he does so in a way that everyone's just kind of like, yeah, I get it. He's very level-headed. He has a couple moments with Russell, but once they get past that, it's just fun watching. So you have four hyper competent men. One of them has a vertebrae broken. Then there's Oliver Platt, who comes through in the end, but he's thinking about turning them in because he's just a regular Joe. And then you have Kurt Russell, who, in another really unselfish role, he's just an analyst. He's sort of the Jack Ryan of this movie.
Right.
And it's fun watching them because, for me, when I think about this movie, John, I probably hadn't watched this movie, man. I watched it 2 years ago. I watched this movie with my father-in-law, and I always know when he likes an action movie when we play darts on how many games of darts we play, and we didn't even finish one game of darts watching this movie because he just sat there staring at the TV. So this was like a one dart game movie. But so I watched it, but before that was probably 20 years. But I think the joy for me that comes in this film is it's okay. We talked about True Lies too. We love that movie, but it's big, it's comical, it's loud. We talked about, I've talked about Speed with just the elevator, the bus, the train, the explosions. The tension for me in this movie comes more from the straw, comes more from the testing of the bomb, it comes more from Kurt Russell hanging from a wire and making noise with the camera,
right,
or Halle Berry
around because he's not used to it.
Exactly, and like Halle Berry pointing at the camera. It's that for me, when I think about this movie, I never think about the gunfight. I never think about the plane landing. I never think about the shrub jumping in the beginning or the gunfight. For me, it's all about the magic wand. And I think that's where this movie's successful. But what's pretty fun, man? I promise I'll let you talk. On IMDb, it has a 6.5 on IMDb, and on Rotten Tomatoes it has a 63, and on Metacritic it has a 62. So it seems like almost every single, well, not every single entity, but IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes, and Metacritic all have it in that 60% range. What do you think about that?
About that range?
Yeah.
Well, I'm a little surprised because I feel like IMDb gets a different kind of psychological rating to it. And I feel like IMDb tends to come in lower for movies that are not like Oscar winners or just utterly, like, that aren't outstanding in their field. And I enjoy this movie, but this is not a True Lies for me. This is not a Die Hard for me, So I would have expected a lower rating relatively on IMDb. So that's curious to me. But I guess great popcorn value and a great cast, and maybe that's what's doing it. But I'm comfortable with those ratings. Is that high in your opinion for this kind of movie for Rotten Tomatoes? You're the Rotten Tomatoes scoring expert.
Yeah, it's higher for Metacritic than I would have thought. Because normally when an action film is 63, the Metacritic score will be about 45, 50. So I'm actually pretty curious. The Metacritic says that the Metacritic's more surprising for me because there's a lot of action films that are in the The Rock is 68, which blows my mind. And then there's some excellent ones like Deep Blue Sea. I'm sorry, I'm bringing it up. That's 59. So I feel like there's a range between like 59 and 68 where movies like this fall in. And so
Well, The
that
Rock is
actually,
easy for me because that's such a pleaser. It's a great
yeah, it's
cast
so
and,
good.
and huge spectacle.
But like 68. So I guess I'm not surprised by that. I'm more surprised by the Metacritic and I'm more surprised by the IMDb because, like I said, John, like the main attack doesn't happen until an hour and 50 minutes into this movie. So it's more of a pop, a pop boiler. It's more of a kind of white knuckle thrill. It's more of like a breakdown, I guess, which Kurt Russell did a couple of years later. Just it relies more on. You know what else I was thinking? This is really more random things, but I just watched a movie that I adore called Moonfall. And I remember just being incredibly happy that I was watching $100 million movie with Patrick Wilson, Halle Berry, and the guy from, sorry, I forget his name, the guy from Game of Thrones as the leads. And then Michael Pena popping up occasionally. I'm like, this is a $100 million movie with these guys in the leads. It made me happy. So watching this with John Leguizamo, Oliver Platt, Halle Berry, B.D. Wong, Joe Morton, and Kurt Russell, it feels so it feels so nice to me because it's not, I mean, like Halle Berry wasn't A-list totally yet. Kurt Russell was probably the main A-lister in this movie at the time. Leguizamo...
And Seagal, though, he was on the coattails of his trilogy.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, Seagal was a big grab, and a lot of people were mad that he died. But it's just refreshing at the end of the day, watching Halle Berry and Kurt Russell land a plane. And that, if that makes sense, it's just I feel like it has a different cast. I like this cast a lot. And I remember watching this back in the day, and it was just one more reason why I thought Leguizamo was the best. Because I was like, yeah, he's the leader. This is great. This is cool. But yeah, I mean, I guess I understand the 6.5 IMDb because I think it knows what it is. It knows it's silly. It knows its plot about blowing up the entire eastern seaboard is silly. And I think it just is good at what it is, if that makes sense.
That's just it. This movie isn't great. It's good.
Yeah.
But it's good at being good.
Does that make it great?
No, but that's just like it isn't great. It's a good movie.
No,
I think I think it's easy to please people with this movie.
Yeah, just because it's not hyper violent. It does rely on the stock 1990s terrorists. What's the word? Trope. Mm-hmm. I mean, you do have the terrorist who does establish himself as the extremist, whereas the other ones are just saying, hey, I thought we were trying to get our guy out. That's what we thought we were doing. So I think the directors tried to lean heavily on that. But but I think you're right. The villains in this movie are really non-entities. This is more about watching people crawl around the inside of a plane and stick straws into bombs. Is kind of what I like.
Well, yeah, I mean, you deal with film students. I mean, this is a classic case of Chekhov's chewed straw. You don't
Chekhov's airplane.
You don't put a chewed straw in Act 1 in Oliver Platt's mouth unless Oliver Platt is going to use it to save the day in Act 3.
And he grabs that thing too from his desk, and there's a whole cup of them.
Yeah, he's loaded.
Oh man, I love that they actually put an entire cup down for him.
And immediately, once he was recruited, he just grabs it and starts gnawing on it like a rat.
And then and you know what's interesting? When I chew on straws, the chewed portion looks like it's been decimated by a feral honey badger. When he chews on straws, he has a really great flattened edge. So he's a very delicate straw chewer. So Levingood.
I used to do that. And what that is
Wait, you did?
Oh yeah. And that is because you're not directly chewing so much as pressing it between your teeth and then pulling it occasionally. So you chew it occasionally, which is softening it. It's making it more malleable, but then you bite it and you pull it, you drag it out betwixt your teeth. And that gives it that flat look. I used to do that all the time and try and give it razor edges. But the razor edges was just a weird, fun teen thing to do, whereas the chewing on the straws was an anxious, nervous teen thing to do. You know, but you're self-aware of it, so you find something to do with it. But yeah, that's from just dragging it out from between your teeth. Oh, I know that well.
See, that's interesting because I just, you know me, man. It looks like something blew up the end of it.
So like right now, like the listeners are divided into two camps. There's the camp that's like, who does that? And then there's the other camp that's just nodding quietly, like, yep, I do that. Yeah. I pull it through the teeth.
You either obliterate the straw, or you do the Levengood method or the Hoffmeyer method.
I mean, I'm sure
Oh,
the method predates us, but
yeah.
I'll take the credit.
Hey, we're the first ones to talk about it on an executive decision
Podcast,
podcast episode.
probably, maybe,
Yeah. So then we get to call it.
maybe.
Yeah.
We might be.
No. All right. So you get half, I'll take half, and we'll listen through all of them just to make sure that we can claim this.
But
And,
no, I'm with you
go for
though. Like the straw, it's not like a character and it's not a plot device per se, right? But even though it's used integrally at one point, but that straw is with us. Like we notice the straw as viewers because we see Oliver Platt anxious, and he's got the straw, or he's toying with the straw. He's exhaling with the straw hanging out of his mouth. Like that straw is there. It's like it's flag posting the anxiety so that no one misses what's going on in his head.
Do you think that straw gets the most screen time of any cinematic straw ever?
That is a good question. Of any single straw, it's got to be ranking high.
All right, I need to go through this movie and count all the seconds of straw. Then, I mean, there's the straw man. No, there... Is the scarecrow made of straw? No, that's not a drinking
not that
straw. Yeah, you're right. But you can't count straws in like Pulp Fiction has a great straw scene. Cartoons have great straw scenes where they chug the drinks through there. So I think you can't count a straw if it's in a glass. Does that make sense?
I mean, if you want to make the rules, that sounds fine with me. I think that straws in glasses aren't going to get as much screen time because they're going to be different straws in different glasses throughout the movie in most cases.
That's a great point. Well, I guess we got to talk about one straw.
Right. Oh, that's what I meant. Like a single straw.
Oh.
Right? Because I'm assuming that he did not have a pocket full of straws. And if he did bring a bunch of straws, they're on the plane, they're on the remora that went bye-bye. You know what I mean? So that was one particular straw that he had. That's where I thought you were going, like with a one particular straw that gets the most screen time. Now that is a statement.
You know what? I'm going to count that, and we're going to bestow an award to this film for the longest amount of screen time for a single straw.
Almost certainly.
Oh, what an amazing thing. Hey, do you want to talk about where Kurt Russell was in his career? Because one thing I really love about our Kurt Russell series, we talk about a Kurt Russell movie every 25th episode. I love kind of seeing where he's at in his career at this point.
Do you mean his actual career or the Jack Burton timeline?
Oh man, let's do actual career.
Okay, his actual career.
So right now, you and I have covered used cars. We've done Escape from New York. We've done The Thing. We've done
Escape from L.A.
China. Escape from L.A. We've done Tango and Cash. Captain Ron. Tombstone. Stargate. Soldier. I don't think we've done too many of his newer movies, have we?
No. We've been keeping it to our youth and the classics.
Yeah, we did Bone Tomahawk back in the day, but that wasn't like a Kurt Russell specific 25th episode.
We did like three movies in that one, so we can totally do a deep dive in Bone Tomahawk in the future.
Oh, I'd love to do that.
Bone Tomahawk was, I think, like episode 15 for us, by the way, and this is episode 425.
We've covered a lot of Kurt Russell, but you know what? We've really stuck, John. I don't know if we've done this on purpose or not, but we've really stuck from the 90s to 80s with our Russells.
I think that is a mix of the classics that we learned were cool from our friends, older siblings, or our parents or our uncles, and the movies that we grew up with in our formative movie years, our high school, middle school, high school, college, right?
Yeah.
Because once you get past our college, what have we done?
Nothing.
Right. Like I don't think we've passed the year 2000 with Kurt Russell yet.
And you make a great point, because we've done, from 92, we did Captain Ron, then we did Tombstone. I'm not going to count Forrest Gump because that's just his voice. We've done Captain Ron, Tombstone, Stargate, Executive Decision, and Escape from LA. And we've talked about Breakdown and then Soldier. So I bought the fancy special edition Blu-ray for Breakdown. I'd love to cover that soon. But
we need to do that. We both love that understated Russell movie.
Oh, So let's do that. But then, you know, it's awesome. You and I will have from 92 to 98, all of his movies. And
Boom.
we didn't plan it like that, but I think you're right. We were, you know, I was 10 when these movies came out. I remember watching Captain Ron, and my buddies and we had like a wood building, like a wood shop. I don't know, whatever you used to call that, where you build like napkin holders for your mom and you build signs over your door. You know, you get to work the wood. Did you ever have those classes?
Woodshop, we had it. I didn't do it.
Oh, got
Yeah,
it.
we had that.
Yeah. I was like, but we used to look through boats, and then we would just talk about Captain Ron, about what boats we would buy. And then, of course, you get Tombstone, which I think for us, John, was, I don't want to speak for you, but between Val Kilmer,
Oh,
I mean, that movie was just,
my
you could
cousin
walk
and
by
I
in the
quote
street.
that more than any other Kurt Russell movie.
No.
There's so much. There's so much
and
in there.
and then Stargate too, just going to a different world, seeing a different kind, and then Executive Decision, and then Escape from L.A., which we love. I love Escape from L.A. I think it's beautiful. And then Soldier, you know, Paul W.S. Anderson, Kurt Russell getting ripped up. I guess that was kind of this has been our stomping ground. But I think you're right, because I was 10 till 16 when all these came out, so I was a big Russell fan at the time.
Think about too, though, like when you don't get to the movie theaters now, and I'm barring COVID, so let's just say before COVID happened, right? When we don't get to the movies, it's because like we're in before COVID, we were both in our 30s. Now I'm in my 40s. But you know, like if you don't make it to the movie theater, you're exhausted after the week. You just don't want to deal with it, or you don't want to deal with traffic, or God, just wait to stream it. I don't want to deal with the people, or we have plans. When you're a teenager or in middle school, as long as you can get a ride, what do you have going on? Even if you play sports and you have a game every weekend, you can still, if you have an allowance, you can go to the movie theater every weekend. In other words, when we were younger, we got to see almost every single movie that we were excited to see in theaters.
Yeah.
And
it helped that I started working in theaters.
Grad school, same thing. Even very early 20s, same thing. It's as I don't know, maturity and adulting kind of stacked up higher in our lives that now we sometimes wait, or things fall back, or we don't get to something until a few years after it comes out every now and then. But back then we saw everything we wanted to see in theaters. And then again, we didn't have as much going on. We could rent it as soon as it went to Blockbuster. You know what I mean? And we didn't have all these streaming services. So you did it. You're like, oh, that was awesome. I'm going to go rent that now. So
I need to watch Stargate again.
I think that's why we're so on top of it at the time. In addition to the fact that those were our formative years. But those movies are things that we got to see more readily. Whereas now, I'm only going to see the Batman because it made it to HBO Max. And before that, I'm like, well, I don't want to see it alone. I don't want to go to the theater alone for a big action movie. Or, oh, my girlfriend isn't here this weekend visiting. It's like all these reasons will come up that I'm just like, I'll just wait. I've got a big TV now. But then you see these things on delay. So instead of seeing it for the second time once it hits some kind of television medium, I'm seeing it for the first time. It's all changed, Mark. We grew up and the world changed.
Oh, dude, it's nuts. Yeah, you're right. You could just hit up so let's say you had in between classes, you could go hit up a matinee for cheap. Or when I was working at a movie theater, when we would screen movies at midnight on a Thursday, I could stay up for that. I would be unconscious now if that happened.
Midnight, I wouldn't even made it to the beginning of the movie, Mark.
Yeah, I would have been in bed for 3 hours.
Right.
Before that movie started.
Yeah.
But yeah, and too, I think one interesting thing, the more I explore talking about covering topics on this podcast, the more I write about movies, I've learned that I'm really drawn towards actors like Kurt Russell, or actors like John Leguizamo, or actors like Iko Uwais or Tony Jaa or Michael Jai White or Scott Adkins, or it's a really weird combination there. But Kurt Russell or John Cusack in his action movie, like Grosse Point Blank, those kind of films where Goon, Sean William Scott, where they're not like hyper alphas, if that makes sense. Like I know Kurt Russell is an Escape from LA, but I think what I like about Kurt Russell is he's never been that super A-lister, and he's never been that. He's never had the draw of Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? He's never had the draw of, in his pomp, right, or Jim Carrey or Adam Sandler, I don't know. But he's always just worked, and he's always been in interesting roles. I think he's always been an unselfish actor, too.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why I like him so much, because, we talked about Stargate. That was Spader's role. Other people shined. You talk about Tombstone. I mean, would a selfish actor allow Val Kilmer to do what he did? I think he realizes when he has a strong bench. That's my long way of saying this. I just like that he's never been a super A-lister, even though he is an A-lister. And I like that he's unselfish in his roles, like in Big Trouble in Little China and The Thing and Tequila Sunrise. Mm-hmm. But then he always puts in good, different work. And I think he also has that everyman quality that I like. Because you think about this movie, when he has that hoodie on, like he's out of his league. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I just like what he brings to the screen, if that makes sense. And when I bring up people like John Cusack, he was always sensitive, but he could beat people up. Sean William Scott in Goon, he was sensitive, but he could beat people up. Keanu Reeves in Speed, he was kind of just a nice dude. He wasn't the
sensitive and can beat people up.
Yeah, exactly. So I think I've always liked the sensitive people who can beat people up roles, even though that's not Snake Plissken. But I think you get what I'm saying.
But also Snake Plissken is a rogue.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like even though like you call him kind of like an alpha, and I'm not saying that I disagree with that at all, but he's not your front man like Dwayne Johnson or Van Damme, who's just kicking everyone's ass. He's trying to avoid front combat. He's trying to sneak in, get the advantage. If he could, he would sneak his way to avoid every fight possible to rescue the president and get out, or the president's daughter and get out, depending on the movie in question, right? And if he could, he'd avoid it all. Whereas the other guys, they don't try and look at that zigzag trajectory. They're like, straight line to what I want, and if you're in the way, bad news. You know? Mm-hmm. So he's a good rogue. He's just a strong rogue.
That's a good point. No, you're right. Because when the cannibals are attacking, he gets out of there. When he tries to get out of everything. That's
you don't just lose a fight to a cannibal.
He has good luck in cannibal movies. Escape from New York.
You don't lick your wounds after a cannibal fight. They lick your wounds.
Oh gosh. He would have been. Would Kurt Russell have been good in Ravenous?
Oh well, when I think of things like Bone Tomahawk and Tombstone, I'd say yes. And he can play scared and out of his league well. So, yeah, I think that would have been an interesting play.
Whoa. So we need to build his cannibalism trilogy here. He was in, let's see, Death Proof, No One Gets Eaten. We need to make more cannibalism films for him. How do you feel about that?
I mean, that's ambitious. And I think he's a little old to want to be involved in cannibalism films.
Green Inferno. Would he be good in Green Inferno?
I feel like in Green Inferno he'd have the very minor role as the dad.
Yeah.
I see that happening. But then
could he be Ray Liotta in Hannibal?
I could see that, but I don't want that to happen to him.
Yeah. There's a certain pleasure. Oh, sorry.
I don't want to see Kurt Russell get had.
I feel like there's a certain pleasure to watching Ray Liotta's brains get eaten that only Ray Liotta can provide, right? Like Ray Liotta's brains are being eaten. This is amazing.
But if
like Kurt Russell's brains are getting eaten. I don't like this.
No, I don't want to see that.
That's a really random tangent for our executive decision, but I love it. So how about this? Let's take a quick break, and then when we come back, we'll refocus and we'll talk more executive decision. We will be right back. Welcome back to Movies, Films, and Flicks, and let's talk about the movie, shall we?
Yeah, I guess we could do that. I mean, we've talked about every other movie that Kurt Russell has been in a little bit.
7,000 movies. But I do think one nice thing about this movie is it's really interesting in looking back at it now that it takes 40 minutes to get on the plane. And then at the hour and 50 mark, the action pops off. This is a film the short act for 5 minutes. But I guess I like that. I like how much time we spend with Oliver Platt and Joe Morton. And I mean, even the idea of the Remora with that. Remember back in the 90s when Broken Arrow, those planes were super hot at the time.
Those Blackbird style planes.
Yeah. It's like seeing how cool that was, seeing Seagal die. I mean, I guarantee you, John, that was kept as a really great secret. And I remember he didn't want to die. So in the original script, his head blows up. And so he fought a lot against the studio. And then instead he just gets sucked out, which is a better idea. You don't want, it's not a head blowy uppy movie. And so once he died, you kind of perk up. But the idea of the Remora, it's silly, but like, okay, that's cool. Like, it's neat that it did something different at the time. And I really like that. And it wasn't, I like that Seagal had to sacrifice himself for it. And also, that fighter pilot who shot himself out of the plane, he's going to be floating in the Atlantic for a very long time. I hope his seat has like a inflatable raft in it, because he's going to be chilling in the Atlantic for a minute.
Yeah, he's definitely going to spend a few hours out there, at least. At least. But, you know, they knew where he was.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a tracker.
I'd like to think he has a flare on him, so that when they do come within like a mile or so of him, he can shoot a flare.
And he has an industrial dinghy, not like a really cheap inflatable raft. Like, he has a really nice one with like a cocktail bar. Mini cocktail bar.
And sunblock.
And sunblock.
There's got to be sunblock.
Shark repellent spray.
People don't think about sunblock. You get fried out there.
Oh gosh, yeah. That's, you know what's good though? He does have long sleeve, so his head but he does have a helmet on. So the good news is he could stay protected from the sun, which is good. I don't
know what the weather was. We don't know what. You know what? It was it snowing when the plane landed? It was very Die Hard too. I think there was snow, so it wouldn't have been too hot out.
Yeah, keep your outfit on. It would have gotten wet though. That could have been a problem.
But if it was summer though, he might just get heat stroke then.
Yeah, just laying there.
But since it was wintry, again, it felt very Die Hard 2 at the end, or Die Hard 1. It felt very Die Hard at the end.
Or Die Hard 3.
With the snow.
Oh, no, you're right. Yeah. No, that's definitely not Die Hard 3, my bad.
Yeah, that was in the summer.
No, I do love that. Yeah, so I remember watching that and going, yeah, this pilot's in some trouble. But once they get up in the plane, I just thought, you're right, though. I like how they had to refocus being a group. I like that Joe Morton was stuck. He got his vertebrae broken. I really like that he made a mistake with the bomb and how there was multiple layers to it. Which is this a silly plot, John? That these extremists want to free their boss who was captured, and to do that, they take over a plane to get him free. Mm-hmm. And then when people are like, "Yeah, cool, we'll set him free," they're like, nah. Or one of them is, at least. They decide not to, and but like, what, David Suchet, Hassan, his character, but he's going to blow up the plane anyway, but he doesn't want to tell anybody. But then he brings an entire crew. Couldn't they have just sat one person in a seat and just blown it up when it landed? Hey, what's the plan?
But I think he did want to have that extremist released, though.
Yeah.
So he did want that to happen. So he wanted to do that and make his terror attack.
But would they let him go if the plane just kept going and blew itself up?
Well, he was already let go, though.
Wasn't he on a plane he was on a plane with agents. So maybe they could land and then learn what happened in the air.
They could always be like, yeah, screw this. This wasn't the deal.
Yeah, we're flying you back.
Or maybe that was actually just a diversion to keep them from ever thinking that this was just about making a terror attack.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good diversion. I mean, and it makes sense. But couldn't you have... I know it's a movie plot. If you just put one person on this plane, the movie does not happen. And you know what's funny? I've never thought about the plot of this movie specifically, but there's fakes to the bombs, and then it's just... That right. Bomb seems like a lot of overkill.
Why do you have a bomb that has all these things unless you think someone's going to try to defuse it? And at that point, couldn't you have secured the bomb better than simply letting someone go through cargo and find it? Couldn't you have been transporting a gun safe with the bomb
Yeah.
in the gun safe. Because if this stuff is that destructive, a gun safe, it's going to tear through that like it's made out of glitter.
Oh yeah.
You know, so I mean, there are a lot of things that I don't know the ins and outs of bomb making. So if anyone out there is an engineering student, please don't be screaming at your computer or your speakers at what I'm saying about how wrong I am. But I do feel like yeah, like I don't know why you're trying to again make fail safes unless you expect someone might be trying to defuse your bomb.
And maybe put a guy down there with it. But I do love when BD Wong's character Sergeant Jung is looking for the bomb, how long it takes him. Because if there's 400 plus people on that flight with luggage, you're going to be going through a lot of luggage. So I didn't like that I like that they didn't immediately find it.
Well, they knew that it was going to be big.
Yeah.
Because
But
of
that
the
was
amount
fun,
of
right?
DZ5 they were looking for.
Because they just went through so many different suitcase racks. I don't know, that's not the technical term, but I do love that. I like that it took them a long time. And that put a smile on my face. But that's a lot of DZ5 to have on board. They're going to put, like, so, whatever. For me, the villains are so secondary in this movie that I guess I never thought about the overall plot of the film.
Yeah, you know, if a Die Hard 2 did this, you would have seen a couple bad guys kill a couple of cargo handlers, take their name badges, right? Hide their face while they're loading something on, and then like have someone like wave someone in to bring this. You know, it would have been like an 8-second scene, but Die Hard 2 would have done that with their plane issue, right? Like Die Hard 2 was good about showing us many scenes that are brief and behind the curtain for the preparation, whereas this, it's just like all this stuff happened.
They just put it on the plane.
And that's fine. I mean, like you're bringing this up now, and as you're bringing it up, it makes total sense to think about it. But while I'm watching it, this stuff never crossed my mind. Although the fail safes on the bomb crossed my mind. That did cross my mind. And like, you know, then you have like all the lasers around the device, which made me think of movies like Entrapment with Catherine Zeta-Jones doing, I don't know, power yoga or capoeira or whatever, and then Ocean's 12 with the capoeira with Vincent Cassel and the lasers. Like the late 90s and early 2000s loved lasers.
Oh yes, they did. Now you want me having an Oliver Platt laser scene? Just what do you think?
You mean something much higher and more grand than him putting on the goggles?
Yes, like Vincent Cassel scene in yoga gear.
I mean,
going through it.
Boy, he would be sweating bullets. I wonder if his sweat, because he sweats a lot, if his sweat drop falls through a laser, does it set it off? Because if it does, he's screwed.
Oh. You know what is funny though? I watched this movie Ambulance recently, and I did notice that there was very uneven sweat work. But the sweat work in this movie is top notch. You do feel the sweat in this film. I'm really happy you brought that up.
Oliver Platt is a progressively more sizzled piece of bacon in terms of sweat as this movie progresses. I'm surprised he didn't dehydrate to death without a refreshments cart nearby.
Cappy's laying there like, he's out, he's dehydrated. At the end when he says he needs a good drink.
And meanwhile, like him and Cappy and Halle Berry, I can't remember her character name, but so Cahill, Cappy, and Halle Berry's flight attendant character, Jean, they are like the heroes of this. Not that John Leguizamo wasn't awesome, like taking the reins, but these are the people who strike me as being in the constantly most stressed, highest stakes position.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, Halle Berry has the most, she's unarmed, and so she has to do all of this stuff. Like, she gets tossed around a lot in this movie, and hurt. So then when she has to write on her hand, when she has to read the books, I like that they just has a random map with Washington, D.C. circled.
Right.
And going like, here. But yeah, no, I always felt for her character, because I guess you establish early on that she's brave. Also, man, I do remember Nancy, played by Marla Maples at the time. And I was like, this lady, this doesn't feel right. I wonder if she took the role of Mary Ellen Trainor, who gets killed in the beginning, because Marla Maples in this movie is not very good. I don't want to hate. She's an untrained actress, so I don't know how she ended up in this movie. But yeah, that's random.
Executive producer's cousin.
Yeah, she got it by. Well, she was married to Trump at the time, so I wonder if that happened. But I do.
What?
I don't know. Yeah, she was Marla Maples' Trump.
No way.
At this point, yeah. But no, I do love Halle Berry's character in this. I think she holds her own. I think it was also smart too. In this movie, there's really kind of some neat multiple layers. So you watch a Predator, and it's one of the greatest action films ever made, but they're all wildly burly, murderous men. But what makes it work is they're being attacked by something more wildly dangerous and burly, and that kind of makes them.
It appeals them to their fear, their anxiety. Some of them are problem solving, and some are falling apart.
And they get literally peeled, which is crazy.
Correct.
And this one does a good job of you have Gene, who is a flight attendant, but brave flight attendant. You have David Grant, who's an analyst. You have Oliver Platt, Dennis Cahill, who is just, I guess, another engineer. Then you have Rat, Cappy, Jung, and then Michael Baker, but none of them are really super alphas. So you have, normally you have one of either Halle Berry, Kurt Russell, or Dennis Cahill. You don't have three of them.
Right.
That was a long way of saying that.
We have three fish out of water put into high stakes positions, right?
Does that ever happen? When does that?
No, it's an interesting thing. There's a lot of humility in these heroes.
Whoa. That took a long time for me to say, but now I just realized what the point was. So yeah, but yeah, you never get three fish out of water. I think that's pretty, I like that though, because Commando, you get one fish out of water. When he goes with Speed. Well, I guess Sandra Bullock is the fish out of water, not counting the rest of the bus passengers.
So
they didn't really do much.
Those fish out of water, though, they usually strike me as a tag team, right? So if we just look at Cappy and Cahill, that's kind of like Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum. One is professional and keeping the nervous guy with the other intelligent skill set calm and focused, right? So I feel like that's also Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock. I feel like that's whereas in this, though, we also then have John Leguizamo dealing with Kurt Russell. And we also have Kurt Russell dealing with Halle Berry. And so there's a lot of all this, right? It's not just like the nervous pedestrian and the calm soldier. It's more complicated than just that.
And then to top it off, Cappy's on morphine. And
he passes out for a while. And then he wakes up and he says, Don't cut that. Whatever you do, do not cut that wire. Meanwhile, Kurt Russell's beautiful. Like, just go with your instincts. You're an engineer.
All right, sure. Oh, man.
He would have all died.
Yeah.
That would have been
just
it.
Go with your instincts. Well, I guess the military would be like, well, I guess we don't have to worry about that plane anymore.
Right. There were a couple interesting moments. Well, of course, that's just cinematic timing, right? That felt very dramatic. But of course, if he was out another 5 seconds, then they would have all been done. Another time is when our lead terrorist sees Jean, Halle Berry, on that phone. And then she's like, I thought I saw, whatever, the light blinking. I thought it was ringing. And he lets that go way too easily.
Yeah.
I thought in my head, no, that's getting investigated, right? But and then I watched it again and I'm like, how is he letting this go so easily?
He just kind of shrugs his shoulders and goes, and sort of saunters away.
After he kind of manhandles her to the ground, I think, or something, or against the wall. But so there was that. Another interesting flaw, but again, it's 90s movie making about our lead terrorist, is that he calls himself Altar. And Kurt Russell reveals, in that situation room, that means revenge. And the fact that he called himself Altar and that came up totally shifted potentially the way that they gauged his motives. If he had called himself, I don't know,
Firebird,
anything else, or just some name.
Fireblazer.
Right, they would have been like, "Oh shit, like he's a terrorist, he wants to, he's threatening us, that he's going to do this horrible thing, and he just wants this extremist release." But because his name is Revenge, you're going to assume there's a little more to it. I
Yeah.
think, maybe, right? Like, but again, it's very cinematic. It's very, even though they didn't do it in the movie, it's very True Lies. It's like calling themselves the Crimson Jihad without calling themselves the Crimson Jihad, which was the True Lies bad guys group.
And I guess what Cameron did was Cameron went full Looney Tunes with the villains, with the way they were set up. I think he went full bonkers fest. This one stays more grounded, but then I guess it shows that I keep forgetting his name. Hassan is the extreme. He didn't tell his men what they were doing overall. But how'd they get the bomb on the plane?
We're hand waving.
Yeah, you're right.
Although again, like 1 8-second scene could have showed us this.
Yeah, because so many movies have that. I mean, if you watch, remember Bad Boys? The entire beginning of Bad Boys, it's just them pulling off the heist, but you see them do it.
Mm-hmm.
And like planning that cool. Yeah, I guess they could have done. And also John Leguizamo's in Die Hard 2 as well.
Die Hard
solid
2?
plane. Die Hard 2. Solid plane movie. Leguizamo.
I totally forgot that he was on that.
He's the best. Johnny Legs. So cool.
The 90s was good for plane movies.
Yeah, Turbulence. We should do that'll be our draft.
Turbulence, Con Air.
We'll do 90s plane movies.
Oh shit, so I should stop saying things.
Yeah. No, I mean you can, but I mean, dude, look how they go in waves, right? You had the plane movies, and then
bomb diffusing movies of the 90s. Lots of those.
Oh, Blown Away.
Also Speed, as it turns out.
Arlington Road.
Oh my god, Arlington Road. Yeah, that was early 2000s, so right time zone, right? Like, The Specialist Face Off opens with a bomb?
Oh, so many bombs. And a plane.
Oh my god, and even though it's not about diffusing the bomb, The Rock.
That's, yeah.
That's, I shouldn't call that a bomb, though, because they were going to be loaded into, like, missiles or something.
But that's still, you're still dealing with, like, he has to go kill the chips for things that will explode.
Oh my god.
So I would say that's bomb maintenance.
Did The Specialist have bomb
Broken
diffusing?
Arrow. There's a nuclear bomb.
Yeah, the 90s and early 2000s. It loved bombs. It loved plane movies.
Swordfish opens with a bomb.
That was a really cool bomb.
Ball bearing bomb?
That was a really cool bomb. Although there was no bomb diffusing.
No.
But yeah, Blown Away was great.
There weren't too many explosions in Con Air, which was nice.
But
this one kind of packed
that was our
them
90s
all.
plane movie.
Yeah, you're right.
It just hit the other parameter.
Oh man, yeah, it's But I think what this movie does, I mean, the director. I don't know if you looked at the director, Stuart Baird. He actually went on to go on. He directed U.S. Marshals, but then he did Star Trek Nemesis. And I was reading about him. I was doing some research for this, and so he's been nominated for 2 Oscars for editing. But when he was directing Star Trek Nemesis, he was bragging that he had never seen a Star Trek Nemesis movie. Or Star Trek Next Generation TV show. He's like, I've never watched that crap.
Oh, dear.
So he goes to direct it, and he makes one of the worst Star Wars movies ever. And Patrick Stewart just absolutely despises him for working on it. But he has gone on... Recently, he has edited Skyfall. He's edited Casino Royale. He also did Maverick. So he did Tomb Raider. I mean, this is the Edge of Darkness, Salt, 47 Ronin. Last Boy Scout. He did Showdown. He did Die Hard 2. Oh. He edited Die Hard 2.
Good link.
And then he did Showdown in Little Tokyo, where Dolph Lundgren flips a car and Brandon Lee tells him that he's the biggest penis that he's ever seen on a man. Thanks. That's the greatest. He also did Lady Hawk, which I love. But yeah, he edited Die Hard 2. So I wonder if this sort of... Because... It's interesting. I mean, they're completely different movies. I don't know. I just think it's interesting. But I just think it's... And also the writers of this movie did Predator.
Oh, so Stephen Black was involved in writing this?
So this was...
Shane Black.
Jim Thomas. Oh, Shane Black. Yeah, this was Jim Thomas, the 2 Thomases. And so they wrote the screenplay for Predator. And then I'm sure it changed a lot. But then they also wrote Predator 2 as well. And then they went on to do Executive Decision, Wild Wild West, Mission to Mars, Behind Enemy Lines. And then, let's see, that was about it. But we've covered all these films so far. Predator. Maybe they're just tired of really burly men and they wanted to put the opposite of that on a plane. And kill off the Seagal. Which makes me laugh. But no, man, like, I have nothing but fond memories of watching this movie. And because I just think when you look at 1996 action films, it is different from... I mean, it has the stock villains, of course, but I guess I like that there's 3 fish out of waters in it. It's not the traditional one. I mean, this was a year with Broken Arrow, which that movie, man, had so much swag. All Travolta does in that movie is smoke cigarettes.
And strut.
And strut.
Black. Yeah, he struts.
You have a racer who he's killing alligators and calling them luggage. We had Independence Day. We had The Rock. We had Daylight. So this, this was still... You know what's interesting about this one is this was sort of you had Schwarzenegger, you had Stallone, you had the big names making movies, but they didn't really do as well. But then you had Mission Impossible, or The Quest didn't do well with Jean-Claude Van Damme. So like the major names didn't have the biggest films, but then you had Tom Cruise becoming an action hero. You had Will Smith, Jeff Goldblum stepping up. You had Nick Cage getting ready to make a run. So this is kind of almost like a handing so 94 kicked the door open a little bit, but then I think this movie am I making sense to you? Like this was it
was just a change in the way that we handled our action movie tropes.
Yeah.
Or our expectations, right?
I guess it was just refreshing for me. And I remember watching Twister and just liking the Twister team that drives around eating steaks at places. I really enjoyed, food, sustenance, I enjoyed Executive Decision, how you have the fish out of water. I enjoyed how Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible, there's an entire scene of him just hanging from a wire. And that's where the tension came from. I think this movie was pretty good on tension and different kinds of action. I don't know. Also, Last Man Standing came out, so that didn't do too well. So you had the big hitters not doing too great. And then you had kind of a new group. And also Fled, this is when they tried to push Stephen Baldwin as an action hero. You had Bulletproof with Adam Sandler and Damon Wayans. So we had Bulletproof and Fled in 96. And then, Glimmerman too. So then, yeah. So what's interesting? The 80s heroes were kind of fading, but then also Jean-Claude Van Damme had Maximum Risk. So they had that, but then a new group was coming up. It's interesting. So I think that's why I liked Executive Decision. It just felt a little more sensitive. It felt more tension driven. It had a couple good surprises to it. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's my final thought on Executive Decision. What else is there to cover in this film? Do we have anything? You know what's interesting, though? He does keep calling Halle Berry Jean a stupid woman. So maybe he's just...
You mean Altar?
Yeah. So he just keeps going like, hey, you're a stupid woman. So maybe he didn't take her seriously. But you're right. He does look at the phone and go, huh? I mean, this is after she hid the flight logs. I would have taken her up to first class or something and just had her sit up there away from... I wouldn't have her help. Because I'm like, she's thrifty. She's trouble. I don't know. I don't think I would have kept her around on that. What do you think the hockey game is going to be like between Kurt Russell and Halle Berry?
The hockey game?
Yeah,
oh God!
Take her to a hockey.
I loved it. Oh my God! When he was at that banquet in the beginning of the movie, and he tried to pick up a woman with hockey tickets. That guy, in a way, there's a lot of boldness, but that's not good game.
Yeah. Do you like hockey? I'll take you to a hockey game.
He pulls out he literally pulled out the tickets.
Oh my gosh.
That strikes me as crass.
I'm going to start doing that. I'm just going to... Wait, no, I'm not.
Because any woman who loves hockey and thinks that he looks charming and knows that they're at this banquet and that, he's probably some well-to-do something, even if a woman was like, oh my God, I love hockey. I have these 2 great tickets. She's like, oh my God, yes. That was how they met. Well, now they're going to go get a drink. And at some point, she's going to think to herself, wait a minute. He showed up here with those tickets and he doesn't even know me. How many women did he ask about this before he talked to me? This guy is a putz. And I'm not saying that in this movie Kurt Russell's character is a putz, but that scene, when you break it down, because we don't necessarily know. Like he just walked up to the first attractive woman he saw.
Do you like hockey?
Has he used this trick before?
I want to see the scene where she just goes around the party asking women if that you see that guy, did he ask to go to a hockey game? Like I would like to know how many people he had asked beforehand. Do some detective work.
Well, she does the typical scene in a movie where she goes to the bathroom and she's like touching up her lipstick. For some reason that always happens in movies. I don't know why that's happening if you're not, I don't know, aggressively kissing someone, but I don't wear makeup, so I don't know. But either way, you're doing that and you're talking to like a stranger next to you casually about something that just happened, right? Who's also like touching up their makeup or something. Because in movies, that's all women do in front of the bathroom mirror, right? Just saying. And she's like, oh my gosh, someone totally asked me that like 10 minutes ago, but I was there with my husband. He's like, oh my gosh, that's so weird. What do you look like?
You're like 007.
Right. He said he worked for the Beckley Institute.
That's bold. You're right. That's a bold move. It's a really bold move.
Like,
sorry.
I feel like you're gonna be made out as being shallow or a putz or something, unless the person that you went over is even more shallow.
It's interesting. They wanted to create him as like a player, but then also later on when he's useless without his glasses. It's like he's kind of James Bondian, but then I wonder if that was a Russell edition. I would have liked it. Dweeb. Yeah, debonair dweeb. This summer, Travis Austin is the debonair dweeb. But also too, I like his Han Solo moment where he has the vest on and then the white shirt. It looked like he was trying to recreate a little bit of Han Solo magic. I don't know if you got that vibe.
I don't remember that. It didn't pop out to me, I guess.
Yeah, I was watching this. I'm like, because I know he tried out for Han Solo. So I just kept thinking, I wonder if this is in here because he wanted to do this. I don't know.
That's kind of rough. And he's like thinking back, it's like, yeah, they didn't take me. It's like, what actor did they take? He wasn't an actor. He was some dude like, hammering some planks, some carpenter in the background.
Yeah, one of the guys in the back. Yeah, one of the dudes working on
one of the dudes building the set. They were like, we need somebody. You got it. Kurt Russell wasn't good enough.
He looks rakish. We'll take him.
Right.
And also too, I love that Morse is there. Like, but no one knows Morse anymore except for Navy pilots. So but still, it's good. It's well explained. I think the script does try to add things in. Yes, the villains are wildly stock, but I do think I don't want to give them points for trying. Remember they say the bomb maker's family was killed in the Gulf War? So that at least they're not just saying that he's a downright evil guy. But I guess you could have just left religion out of it and just said that they were like a terrorist organization who just liked terror.
It was the style of the time.
Yeah, it was the 90s. But I do like that they would throw in dialogues. But yeah, his family was killed, but now he's a bomb maker. So it's just an interesting... I don't know, I guess overall... It's just a fun experience. You have 3 fish out of water. It's not overly violent, but it still gets by on being very stressful. And I think it does a good job just creating tension out of hanging from wires. It does a good job of creating tension of when he burns those cables, the covering over those cables, I get tense. So I think it does a really good job of just creating tension in non-violent scenarios. And I think I applaud that for that. It's something different.
Oh yeah, I think that's part of the magic of having like 3 people who aren't trained operatives in the hero line.
I can't think of too many other movies that have 3 fish out of water.
Like, because now, like, just picking up that phone when he's like, no, she'll pick it up. I know it. The phone's blinking. Like, we created tension of Halle Berry answering the phone.
Yeah, no, you're right. And then also, who's going to come up on her? Somebody is. They could have looked out for a little bit more. Maybe. I don't know. Whatever. Hey, you want to do
It was a big plane. They didn't have a lot of guys, though.
That is a 747. That thing is... And I love that he lands it. I love that in the beginning he's flying, and at the end he lands it. And I do like the final line where it's like, yeah, they kind of land... They land themselves. That's... I don't know. And then he's going to take her... He's going to go to the Pentagon to get coffee, but who's going to drive her back to our place?
Dude, he's going to fly her there. Honestly, movies like this, like, if that was a line, who's going to take me back to my place? It's like, never, or you're at my place forever now. That seems to be the implication at the end of these movies. We're going to be together forever because we just met. And then,
that's amazing.
Right, and then it turns out that, like, she's a vegan and he's a steak fanatic, and it's just not going to work.
Oh my gosh, yeah. He likes hockey. I like baseball. Because she was with David Justice at the time, so then they had her say that. That makes me happy.
Right. There's
so she had to get that.
warp.
She had to get that baseball line in there, which I still think is funny. But hey, you want to do a plane-based action film draft
tough,
now?
Okay, like, are we just doing like 3?
No, 5.
5? I don't even think I'm going to be able to think of 5.
Because I feel, yeah, we can do it. There's so many. It'll be fun. I'll let you have first pick.
I get first pick?
Yeah.
For my plane movies? Passenger 57.
Whoa. All right, so you didn't take Con Air, so I will not go for that first.
You can take it.
Can I take Hot Shots?
I knew what I was doing.
Can I take Hot Shots?
You can take Hot Shots, but we're doing... Wait.
Action movies. We're doing plane action movies.
Plane, not jet, right?
You can do jet.
You can do jet?
Like Broken Arrow counts.
Okay, I feel like we're broadening it really big here.
Okay, flying... Because they're pilots. And then they have that plane, which...
But we're going more than commercial plane. We're going fighter jets and stuff too.
Oh, you want to do commercial plane?
I thought you meant commercial plane. That's what I thought you meant. But that's okay. I'm still happy with my pick. Passenger 57
Okay,
is a good
how about
pick.
this? That's a great point. Okay, let's... I don't think we could do more than...
That's why I thought 3.
All right.
No, all planes. I'm open for all planes. We can do...
Okay, let's do all planes.
Integral to the movie, though. The planes have to be integral to the movie.
Yes.
Not just like one or two scenes.
Exactly.
Okay, all right. So I got Passenger 57. Who are you picking?
Whoa. Would you kill me if I did Die Hard 2?
You do it.
All right, Die Hard 2.
I'm doing Top Gun.
Oh, was that 90?
86, I think.
Oh, I thought we were doing 90s.
Oh, we're just doing 90s? Okay, wait. Back up. Okay. Just 90s. Okay, so what was your...
Die Hard 2.
You didn't take Con Air.
Nope. You can go for it.
Let me think about it. Well, no. I'm not letting you fool me into that trap. I'm going to think. I want, you know what? Okay, because there's a great line. Get off my plane.
Yeah.
I'm taking Air Force One. I want Harrison Ford.
I love it. All right, Air Force One. I'm going to take Drop Zone.
So you have Drop Zone
and Die Hard 2.
Okay, all right. Commercial planes in the 90s. This is okay. Well, now we're down to the wire. Now I got to think, like, do I want Con Air or is there a better choice? I enjoyed Turbulence. I don't really think it has a top pick, though. Not that we have a lot of movies to go on. This is tough, dude. Okay. Oh. No, that doesn't count.
Let's add the 2000s in here as well.
No. It's too late.
Because that opens up to like Red Eye.
Ooh.
And Final Destination.
Well, to be fair, 2000 is the 10th year of the decade before it.
Yeah.
People misjudge that. They think it's like 90 to 99, but the decade is actually 91 to 2000 because there's no such thing as year 0.
True.
Okay.
I think it's just easier to write.
I have to do it. I'm going to do... Oh, no! Flight of the Phoenix.
Oh, Flight of the Phoenix.
Flight of the
what
Phoenix.
Year was that?
Right? That was in the 90s, right? Like 97?
Who was in... is that the Quaid one?
Yeah, Quaid and Tyrese and Giovanni Ribisi.
Oh, yeah. I think that's 2003.
Is it
I'll
really?
let you have it.
Oh, wait. If it is, I'm out.
Doesn't matter. It's fun. We're getting... Can I take Red Eye then?
Yeah, I'll give you Red Eye. So we're both avoiding Con Air out of principle.
Yeah, I guess so. You can take it.
No, I like that. I like you taking Red Eye. That's cool. So I'll take my Flight of the Phoenix for your Red Eye. Those are our ringers. Those are our early 2000s ringers.
Okay.
And people are going to vote on this, right?
Yep.
I'll be really curious how people vote on this. We both have a Wesley Snipes movie.
Well, it's beautiful. And so you know what it is? We both have big hitters. Die Hard 2 and Air Force 1. Then we got the Wesley Snipes. And then we got Fly the Phoenix and Red Eye. What are you thinking?
When you picked Drops, I'm not changing my pick. I'm just saying, so don't tell me I can go back. I'm not going to go back. I refuse to go back.
Terminal Velocity?
No. when you picked Drop Zone, I should have cued in on Point Break.
Oh, there's so much plane action in that.
That was a big missed opportunity for both of us. But we're sticking. No, we're sticking with this.
Well, do you want Point Break?
No.
And I'll take Con Air? No, that's
no, because we're going to shuffle. We're going to
to
shuffle between our picks. Our picks were strategically picked back and forth. We need to stick with it. We're just letting the viewers know that now we acknowledge that they were out there.
Yeah, so you can go to Movies, Films, and Flicks, and you can vote for John's team or my team. It doesn't matter. I've lost so many of these things. Do not worry about voting against me. I just have fun putting these teams together, and I just like
Picking is a lot more fun than seeing who wins.
Yeah, you know what's interesting though? Like, I've lost so many times, but I just think it's fun getting engagement, getting people to think about it. I'm not really the most competitive person, so I just like putting these up there and kind of getting people thinking. So yeah, I love these lists. People are gonna look at them and go, "What happened here?"
I like seeing people's reactions to them.
Yeah, it's gonna be good, and I keep it nice on MFF. So if there's ever a negative comment, I just ask people not to do that because, people are going out of their way to put teams on here, so people shouldn't be responding negatively to them. We should be like, I never understand looking at a list and going like, your movies suck. Like, people do that.
It's terrible.
So I know a guy who's like, here are my favorite movies of 2021. And some guy goes, 8 should be higher. I'll come back later with thoughts. I'm like, I read that, and this wasn't me. This was somebody else, and someone else commented. And if someone wrote that about mine, I'd be like, no, don't.
I'll come back later with thoughts.
I'm like, we're different people. I am not you. And also, these are our favorite, not the best. I don't even know how you come up with best. But yeah, I don't like going after people. You know what's interesting, John? Statistically, if your list is similar to someone else's list, that's an anomaly. Because if there's 500 movies released in a year, 200 that could be put on your top 10 list because the other 200 are garbage. For you to have maybe the same 4 movies in the top 5, that's an anomaly. So you should applaud having 3 of the same movies in a top 10, not just 8 should be higher. I'll come back with thoughts.
8 should be higher. I'll come back. It's the I'll come back with thoughts that really, that's like a dagger twist.
Are you going to go punch dance in a warehouse? Like what are you going to do?
That's just letting you know the level of disapproval. Because if you say, oh man, 8 should be higher. If you just said that, even without tone, oh man, 8 should be higher. That's just telling readers that they really love your number 8. And that's one of their high picks. But when you say 8 should be higher, I'll come back later with thoughts. That's like when a professor paints your essay red and you're lucky that you didn't fail the semester.
Come see me in the office hours.
Right.
Oh no. Oh no.
That's horrible.
You know what I would do? I'd be like, hey, if their 8 was my 3, I'd be like, yes, you put number 8 on there. I was like, that's awesome. I had it number 3. It's so good. Like, I wouldn't. Does that make sense?
Right. Well, I mean, it's usually there's a reason, right? It's like, oh my gosh, my number 8 would be like number 1 or 2 because I love The Rock, or Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, or Nicolas Cage's The Rock. But whatever the case, like, oh my god, I love that for this reason. That would have been my number 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just a nice, thought out list. Someone saw my list and they're like, Spider-Man No Way Home is better than all those movies. I'm like, oh, so you watched all 10 of my top 10? And they're like, I didn't see any of them.
Okay, that's stupid. If someone did that.
No, it really happened. And they're like, yeah, but they're like, it's pretentious. I'm like, I have Malignant at number 2. Like, this isn't Barb and Star is number 1 and Malignant's number 2. This is not pretentious.
Isn't it pretentious to say that you know which one is the best if you haven't seen all of them?
Yeah. It's comments like those that just it does make it tough, but I enjoyed. So what I try to be really nice. I'm like, oh, so you watched the other 10? That's cool. Like, I'm glad you watched them. No, I haven't seen them. I just know. Oh, John. Well, hey, thank you for joining me, John. And where can people find you?
Oh, if they just type John's Horror Corner, they're going to find me all over the place. They're going to find me on Movies, Films, and Flicks. And they're going to find me on Twitter. They're going to find me on Instagram.
And they're going to find you right behind you. Because he's everywhere. People in... Who knew about you? The telemarketer. Not telemarketer. The help desk.
Oh my God, I don't even remember who I was calling. It was like I was calling my credit card company or like my electric company or something like that. And when I gave them my email, this is like a year or so ago, I gave them my email and someone said, "Oh my God, John's Horror Corner." And they knew the column on Movies, Films, and Flicks.
Oh, I love it. That makes me happy.
That was so random, the two. What was it? No! I remember what it was. I was calling with a complaint because some of my Amazon Prime stuff did not appear in the Prime time frame. And the person who fielded my call knew John's Horror Corner. That was it.
There it is.
Love it.
It's a small world. Oh, it's beautiful.
And she was in Texas. She had an Indian accent and she was from Texas. Well, or she lived in Texas.
Worldwide fan base.
That's right.
In the States. No, you have fans overseas.
Texas is like a different country, kind of, too.
Yeah, you're right.
I've lived there.
They want out.
I'd say
it
so.
counts. Yeah, you were there for a while. You were in the start of the podcast there.
That's right.
But, well, hey, thank you for joining me, John.
All right, cheers, man.
All right, so from me, Mark Hoffmeyer, and for John Levengood, this is Movie Something Flicks. We'll see you next week.